Is this on? So Ryan, you're going to give me a heads up or something? ...2018 business plan competition. We're here at the finals, and we're live streaming this for the first time, so it's a lot of fun. And if you're sitting back in the back, and we invite you to come up and have a better seat, be closer to the action, and make it you know, a little more fun for everybody playing. We're grateful to have Stanley Black & Decker sponsor this for the 6th year in a row. We appreciate all of our corporate sponsors, and they've been a great citizen here for us. And they've hired some of our students as well, so we're probably even more appreciative of that. And we are the Central Connecticut State University School of Business as the official host. And as such, I'd like to introduce our Dean, Ken Caldwell, to just say a couple of words. So Ken, you want to come up?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, as Drew said, I'm Ken Caldwell. I'm the dean of the school. I don't know if I'm capable of saying just a couple of words. They stick a dean in front of a microphone, and we just start bloviating. But I am not only the dean. Before I was the dean, I ran the Entrepreneurship Center at the University of Miami. Before that, I was an entrepreneurship professor. So I have been in Drew's shoes. I have planned many business plan competitions and worked with literally hundreds of students on their startup ventures. And so I'm really into this stuff. And the reason I'm really into this stuff is this is real world stuff. It's not just like sort of textbook models that you're learning. You're actually learning how to do it. From people who know what they're talking about. I was speaking to Eric here, one of the judges just a minute ago, and I was saying you cannot run an entrepreneurship program without experienced entrepreneurs who are willing to come back and sort of pay it backwards and help the next generation coming up. So let's give them a hand for coming here and helping out tonight. But in any case, you know, this can be stressful for some people. Again, I've talked to some of the contestants who seem a little nervous back there. But the thing to do is just remember that, you know, everyone is supporting you here, and there's nothing to worry about. This is practice for when you do this in front of the real VCs and you want millions and millions of dollars. So if you're nervous in front of these guys who look pretty friendly to me, except for Michael, who looks like a banker. Like he has to look stern at all times. But everyone else, I think, is pretty friendly. So, you know, just relax, be yourself, tell your story. And I know you guys have excellent ideas, and I'm looking forward to hearing them. So I will turn it back to Drew.
So tonight, the students are competing for real money. Courtesy of our sponsors. We have best presentation, you know, who gives the best show, best scalable business, you know, a business that can grow into hopefully a unicorn and beyond, or the best Main Street or personal business. And then we have some scholarships that we'll be giving out, and we'll probably do a a sound meter, and you get to choose the crowd favorite for a little extra there. I want to introduce our judges, and I'm going to do this alphabetically, and it's kind of a pleasure to start with Samantha Burroughs. I think she's changed her last name since she was a student of mine, but in 2007 you graduated?
I graduated in 2011.
11. You know, you get to my age, you forget when. But Samantha was a winner at a statewide business plan competition, and 2 of our teams will move on to the statewide competition after tonight, which is also exciting. And she worked for a while with Deep River as a marketing executive, and are you in school now?
Yeah, I'm in school right now, actually, and going back to be a teacher. But I worked in insurance for almost 10 years, and then I also worked at Deep River Snacks, working as one half of their marketing team. Yeah. So I'm interested to see what everyone has in terms of marketing and promotions.
Yeah, so really appreciate you coming back.
Absolutely.
And then alphabetically, SB Chatterjee, who's a health and insurance tech professional in the Hartford area. SB's been a good friend and mentor to a lot of startups, instrumental in startup weekends in Hartford and I guess out at stores, and has just been a great citizen in the ecosystem of entrepreneurship here, and we appreciate when he's able to make time for us. And next to him is Eric Knight, and I put Remarkable up. He actually has a company called Remarkable, but he's also remarkable. He was just saying he's mentoring 200 startups in the state, which is probably not at all an exaggeration. And I'm guessing that half of the successful startups are because Eric has worked with him, and we're always grateful when he has time to come be with us. And then Michael and a Bennett, more or less. I'm just recently gotten to know Michael. He's relationship manager, vice president at TD Bank, another organization that sponsors activities here at CCSU, and we're grateful to have him. And he has a small business lending experience and brings that banking perspective. I think for our Main Street businesses will be a good judge for us. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. And this is the order of presentation, and I think we ought to get Benjamin Gross up here, and let's get started with this. So while Benjamin's coming up to get started, for those of you who are viewing online, they have 3 minutes to make a presentation, and then we have a similar 3-minute time period for question and answers from the judges. So we'll go through each of the teams, and then the judges will deliberate. We'll have a few minutes to chat with the contestants after they've had their nervous moment on stage, and then we'll award the prizes after that. All right. Come on down, Benjamin.
My name is Benjamin Gross, and I'll be presenting today on Pick Up Sticks Specialty Landscaping. Basically, this is a business idea I've had due to my 6 years of experience in the landscape industry. I've worked for my father. I've worked for landscape contractors before, and I feel like it might be feasible for me to try out my own venture in the future. So a lot of the work, I started to try out this idea last summer on my own, and I'm currently pursuing license and insurance. Basically, a lot of the work I started doing was lawn cutting, and I found that by doing different types of jobs for homeowners in West Hartford, who I serve, garden bed work, edging, a lot of these jobs kind of constitute, as an umbrella term, specialty landscaping jobs. The jobs are typically $50 or less. I haven't actually ever done a job over $250 for a customer. It seems like a pretty attractive feature. Oftentimes I work with the customer in helping them have the experience they want, get the service they want. So you might be thinking there's a lot of people that already do this, and there are. There's over 20 landscaping companies in the town of West Hartford that are in business currently. And basically, for a business plan I had done last semester, I evaluated a few major competitors in West Hartford out of a 4-point scale. A lot of them rated well. However, the thing I did notice was a lot of them are lacking on customer service as well as advertising. So contacting a lot of these companies is harder than it should be. It should be very easy for someone to go on a website and request service. The ultimate goal for my idea is to expand into fire prevention efforts, sustainable energy. I looked a bit into the wood chip market as far as wood chip fired power plants are concerned. I do know that there are colleges that have been partially powered by this new technology. So here's a break-even analysis of the idea I have. I don't know if I made this clear before, but my idea is to have this be a part-time venture, and I want it to be something that other professionals can pursue. I have a few neighbors who are professionals. One is an accountant, another owns another business, and they do really like working outside, and they would like if it was easier for them to start their own part-time operation for landscaping. The hard part is a lot of times with landscaping companies these days, there's issues with the culture, of the company, among other factors. Maybe an employer is only looking for full-time employment, which is why it's tricky. So I imagine that if I were to, and this is 416 jobs may happen within a year. If I was doing this as a part-time operation, mostly on weekends and during the summer, 416 jobs would be possible. And I'm trying to keep costs low here. All the equipment I use now is used practically. I only have everything I've bought is off Craigslist, eBay. I do most of my work by hand. I try to keep costs to a minimum. I haven't hired anyone really for any projects. So I'm trying to keep costs down here. I figure first year of business, I might be able to make up to $46,000. I think a profit. I think a more realistic prediction would be within the $15,000 to $30,000 range, because I don't know if 416 jobs at $150 is possible. And so here's the customers I currently serve in the market of West Hartford. Basically, this is within a span of 2 miles. I do go outside of that. And then, in addition, this is what a lot of my customers are concerned with. And this is, yep, competitive advantage. Sorry. Any questions?
Hi there. Thanks. Nice presentation.
Thank you.
Right. You said there's 20 landscaping companies in the marketplace that you're serving.
Right.
Right. And you mentioned that there's like a gap you're thinking with service and such. What is the number one need that they have from their perspective that is unmet that you're going to fill that will draw customers from that segment to you?
I think primarily for me, I've noticed the market in small work. Particularly, it could be anything from working in garden beds to doing small cleanup jobs, working with the customer themselves. I think a lot of the companies I've worked with, they seem to be focused on larger jobs, which I understand. Their idea is growth. But I've noticed that by targeting smaller types of jobs, people seem to find it appealing, and that I'm willing to I think, work with them. And I've only been trying it on my own for like a year. And last summer I tried, instead of to go the conventional route of grass cutting, I tried to do different jobs that people seem to be requesting. So,
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. That was really good.
thank you.
Towards the end of your presentation, you had something about green and sustainability.
Right.
That's very important these days with the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you emphasizing that more often?
I should be, actually. It's a really, I think it's very important. If I could afford it now, to be honest, I would try to invest in equipment that was battery powered and everything else, because in the area where I live in West Hartford, where I primarily work, people certainly are very conscious of not having gas engines or reusing natural resources. I've talked to a few people about this idea of trying to recycle more material instead of maybe sending it to a landfill or whatever else, because landscaping does generate a lot of waste, green waste, and people seem to take an interest in it. And I feel like there is a gap in that. So that's what I am trying to pursue here.
And I had a question. You mentioned your break-even was like 416 jobs over the course of a summer. How large are the jobs that you're typically taking on?
Right. Well, to make right, I had calculated before that to break even with this, assuming most jobs are around $150 or so, I would need, I believe, I would need over 100 jobs to make $46,000, which might have been over-exaggerated in that scenario. It would be profit. I mean, that would be 416 jobs. I think between 100 and 200 jobs I would need to break even, considering all the expenses. And I believe startup cost-wise, I probably would only need about, I'm not entirely sure, but I would probably only need a few $1,000s to buy a trailer, and then the rest would be for the insurance, licensing, etc.
How many jobs did you manage to do last summer? You said it was your first year last year.
It was my first year, right, trying it out on my own, and I wasn't sure about the whole license insurance part because I didn't know, quite frankly, if it would be worth pursuing further. But I had, I think, roughly about 60 different clients over the summer, and a lot of the jobs I did, they ended up being sort of repeat jobs later in the summer. So that seemed to work.
That's good. Nice presentation.
Thank,
Thanks.
thank you.
I had a question. You mentioned that one of the weaknesses of some of your competitors, the 20 just in West Hartford alone, was that they didn't do a lot of advertising. I was curious to know if you had thought about which channels you'd like to use or how you'd like to go about that.
Right.
And maybe what would your hook would be, or what your number one thing that you would push that you think would grab everyone's attention.
Right. I think, well, for the market I have started to serve, well, I thought for younger, because I have served for a number of younger clients, and I do think that social media for them would definitely be a way to kind of enter the industry, maybe make yourself different. I think a lot of people still use traditional websites. I think that a website that would allow customers to easily submit, kind of service request forms, kind of like a job order a work order that they would like done. I think that would be very applicable. I did have an internship this summer with an agricultural manufacturing equipment manufacturing company, and they certainly really had a focus on social media, like Facebook, as well as just having a good website. So I think that's where I would like to focus on to start, because I did notice a lot of competitors, they just wouldn't have a website, and sometimes I would search up a company, even if it was from another town, and they, all you would see is their phone number and then Google reviews, which would be mixed in many cases. So I feel like there's an opportunity there to connect to potential customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Just testing it. All right, hi. Good evening. So Building Blocks Childcare is a new daycare consulting franchise. And with every new company, you have problems that you want to solve. So what problems are we solving? Dual income families are now the norm and not the exception. And planning for family means that you either have to pay out-of-pocket expenses every single month for a daycare, or you lose your career and you raise your children at home. Furthermore, we have many potential entrepreneurs that do not have a strong support system, so they fail to launch entirely. The market that we have in Connecticut is around 160,000 kids that are defined as potentially needing childcare in Connecticut. So center-based childcare has risen in the past 50 years in double the percentage from 13 to 26%. That will continue to rise in the future. To support that claim, we have census.gov saying that we have 79% of all daycare children coming from families where the wife or the mother rather has at least some college background. And knowing the college climate today, the majority of college students are female and 60% of college graduates are female. So that will only rise in the future. So our solution is a three-pronged approach here. We're going to build a benchmark daycare where we take the best aspects of all of our competitors and put them together. And then we're going to use that, leverage the success of that to go into two new markets where we implement a centralized CRM program and affiliates and franchise opportunities. The reason we're doing that is because we've realized that there's huge players in the market currently, from educational play care to Tiny Tots and Little Sprouts in Massachusetts. And all of these locations have 50 years of experience, cannot grow and compete with them in a conventional manner. Our plan is to target those families who are coming at the crossroads where they either have to quit their job and raise their children, or they keep their job and pay out-of-pocket expenses. We will encourage them to open their own in-house daycare, and we will coach them and mentor them through that process, and we'll help them fill out the paperwork and go through that whole process cradle to grave. And one of the benefits of that is we will have the CRM available for their use, so they'll have a leg up on the crowd from all of their other competitors for in-house daycares, because they don't typically have CRM or any of the other technological advances that mid-size and large-size centers have. So for marketing, we're gonna concentrate early on with heavy marketing as far as putting our feet to the pavement, going on websites. There's Connecticut Parenting Magazine, so on and so forth, because we're going to do everything that we can to get the children in as quickly as possible. Currently, our team is myself and my wife, who's an assistant director of a daycare in Glastonbury, Connecticut, and we have a board of advisors, just one advisor so far, and he's a real estate investor who'll help us keep our costs down as far as the renovations early on. Thank you.
Hi there, questions?
Yes,
How you
sorry.
doing? Nice. Hey, you didn't have any financial, I see you're just starting to get into some financial.
Yes, sorry about
there.
that.
So that's okay, you're preloaded there. So tell us a little bit about your financials, how much money you're going to make, how much money can you pay these entrepreneurs that are starting this franchise model, and in conjunction with that, what research have you done to know that there is that these potential entrepreneurs would want to use this service? I mean, actually, they would see this as a viable option for employment.
Okay, so to answer the first part, early on, the first year we're going to have probably a $100,000 deficit because we'll have $60,000 plus in renovation costs, and it's going to take a while. There's going to be a lag for the children to come in. But at the end state, after around 4 to 5 years, when we reach an average of around 85% occupancy, we should have around $900,000 a year of revenue and expenses somewhere in the neighborhood of $650,000. And we will leverage those profits to help us with improving the CRM system so that we can then branch out into the external modeling for the organizations. Because if we just use the one daycare center to fund the next daycare center, we'll grow very slowly. But if we can leverage the new entrepreneurs, then we can get 3 or 4 or 5 centers more quickly. And we see in the on Google or so on and so forth, and just friends that we've talked to and family members, that there's a lot of people out there who struggle with making that decision to raise children and not knowing which path to go down. And I think that if we market the right way, we can show the viable third option of replacement income instead. And we can see some more people show interest. And our only way of collecting money from them would be that we would allow them to use our CRM, and we would skim off the top of the monthly tuitions of every child a portion of their income.
Thank you. Great presentation, thank you. So your customer really is another daycare, a prospective daycare.
Yes.
Okay. The end customer is obviously the parents. What's the value to the end? Do the costs go down? Is it a lot cheaper, more convenient?
So our goal obviously is to make money, but one of the things that I was really excited about was the potential of turning competitors into allies. And so what we could do is convince some of these other organizations, such as Educational Play Care or Tiny Sprouts or whatever, we could convince them to outsource their CRM side of the house, and then we could increase revenues very quickly that way. And really excited about that.
Thanks, Ken. Do you have you done this before? Like you mentioned, your wife runs a daycare center now. Have you guys have any experience starting a business from scratch like this? So
I don't have any experience starting a business from scratch. I'm just an analyst for the Department of Veterans Affairs, and my wife is an assistant director of a daycare, Our Children's Place in Glastonbury, Connecticut. So she has several years of experience, but our advisor, our current advisor, Frank McDonald, is a business owner. He owns Frank Sylvester Salon Day Spa in Massachusetts, and he's a real estate investor throughout Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. He'll help us get some good deals in real estate.
It sounds like a big part of your business is setting up the business, where to get insurance, how to get a tax ID number, how to get started. That's Frank's very involved with that?
Yes.
I just want to make sure I fully understand. I was hoping you could clarify who your target market would be, and if, I guess maybe if there's a difference between your initial target market and then who you'd be looking to target afterwards once you're looking to franchise.
Right. So it is sort of like a phased development here, where step one is creating that benchmark daycare, and that's going to give us the strong foundation to build our reputation and get a consistent revenue stream and show that we can run a profitable business. And then we'll leverage that to go into the new markets, which would be trying to convince other organizations to outsource their CRM management to us. It would lower their operating costs because they could reduce some FTEs that they use for administrative staff. And then we would also look into the other emerging market of the families that we're trying to convince.
Thank you. So, meal plan, college meal plan.
Thank you.
It is not.
So we are SIG Nutrition. Our goal is to help student athletes basically make up their meal plans. Student athletes need to be in tip-top shape in order to perform at their best during games. If they're not at their tip-top shape, then they don't perform well. It's like putting bad gas in a car. We plan on making meal plans for these students using Sodexo's items.
So basically, our vision as Central students ourselves is basically to help student athletes and the athletics department here progress to a higher level of competition. So like, for example, our athletics teams are already like near a breakthrough. For example, our football team just recently made the FCS playoffs for the first time in school history. So basically our goal is to help athletes here at this university and eventually at other universities become more competitive in a cost-effective way.
So who are we going to sell to? We're going to sell to universities who are similar to CCSU, athletic departments that are not too big. We're not going to sell to universities like LSU. They're way too big. They have really competitive sports teams. We're going to sell to teams that are like us. They're trying to break through into basically higher ground.
So in terms of competition, we really don't have any competition in this market. Sure, there's different nutrition-based apps such as MyFitnessPal, but essentially we're unique in our niche in that there's no other app-based or company that advises smaller athletic departments on nutrition for a low cost. Sure, there's large schools such as Mo said, like LSU, that can hire like outside resources for nutrition advising, but schools like Central can't afford to do that.
So our plan is to initially, step one is to create the actual meal plan. We're going to take the menu that Sodexo gives us, and by sorting out when the athlete sorts out what sport they are, what's their age or height, everything, all that information goes into the macros. So we're going to basically program that using our development team, and they're going to program the macros for the people. Step two, like I just said, is developing the app. That's where we're going to need the funding. We're going to need to pay the programmers. Step three is to actually make the deal. We're going to meet up with the CCSU administrators, the athletic departments, and we're going to pitch the idea to them. And once we're sold, the only upkeep that we have is to maintaining the servers and updating the yearly plans based on the new menu items. And step five is selling to other universities. What it costs is that we've received different estimates, and it's going to cost about $27,000. The bulk of this is actually the server and the infrastructure. That costs a lot of money. And we're also going to have to.
Okay, all right, nice presentation, great idea. Hey, the way you're laying this out is where you're doing the development, you're trying to raise funds for development, and then you're going to pitch it to the university, right? So in that order. And typically, you may want to do that in reverse, to find a way to see if there's a need first and to be able to sell. Have the two of you read like the Lean Startup? You're familiar with the Lean Startup?
I think I've heard of the book, but
You got to read it, because that way you'll be able to develop something. Essentially, at least be able to present it to your target audience, which would be the university, at little to no cost. Find out and do an iterative development and pitch to find out, to fine-tune it, then go into development. So really flip it around, I think, would be best use. Then you may find, because right now you're picking a number, what it might cost to develop. You really don't know what you really need to develop until you really talk with the entity that would do the purchasing, right? So just a recommendation. And then so the questions I would have would be after that process and how much would really cost. So I'm just giving you some general guidance, and I'll defer to the other people here for questions.
Thanks for the presentation. That's great. You give a nice list of meals. You're hoping that the athletes will go for this, right? Yeah. Okay. My question is, doesn't the coach or the team have a team nutritionist or something? Are you going to be working with them? Where does this come from? I mean,
well, you see, part of this idea is that it's like talking to different athletes here on campus. You'd be surprised on how like few resources the athletes actually have in terms of nutrition. Like if you go to the athletic building, Kaiser building, there's one like billboard outside of the weight room that says, oh yeah, eat a banana instead of eating a cheeseburger for dinner, right? Or like a snack. It's like, that's like, just about anybody could tell that a banana is better for you than a cheeseburger, right? Not any team nutritionist, because getting back to it, Central doesn't have a big enough athletic department to really justify that, nor do they have the funding for that. Which is why, again, I said we're a niche in the market, and that we want to provide something, nutritional advice and nutritional meal plans based off of like what Sodexo offers that's cost effective for the college and for CCSU and for other campuses.
What little I could see of your financials, it looks more for building the app and infrastructure. But to build a basic prototype, it really is not much. So build a basic prototype and start with a sample menu list, and then literally go to the athletes, go to the coaches and the nutrition, the team coaches, and try and get their validation. That's where you need to be.
Well, you're absolutely right, and I appreciate the advice. We've already talked to a couple athletes about this, and this is, again, this is something from what we see that's in high demand because, again, there's almost no nutritional resources for athletes on campus other than coaches. We actually heard from one athlete that said, yeah, our coach had one meeting at the very beginning of the season, said, it was like a 30-minute meeting, said, yeah, you should probably eat this instead of that. That's about it. And it's like, you're supposed to follow that plan. And like, you can't expect the athletes to get excited about this. And you can't expect them to fully know like what's good for them, what to put in their bodies that Sodexo offers that will improve their performance based off of a 30-minute like unenthusiastic meeting. So again, that's where we come in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a question. All of these meals that you guys put on here are right out of the cafeteria?
Right out of the cafeteria. So Sodexo has an app where you can look up what they're serving like on campus for a specific days and just basically like more generally. And a lot of that stuff on there, they serve every day. So yeah, that's pulled right out of the cafeteria.
It's a really good idea. So what you would do is you would just buy sort of like the maximum meal plan, and then it would be up to the athlete to get to the cafeteria a certain amount of times a day, and then they would always know what's available and what they have.
Yeah, so the athlete, yeah, it's pretty much the athlete. Again, they pull the app up on their phone. They look at like what they should, like a meal plan for, again, say Wednesday. And then as long as they go to the dining hall to eat 6 meals a day, they could see like what they should be eating, and then that's all they got to do on their part.
I think that's a really good idea. Thanks.
Just as a last question, I was curious if either of you have a background in nutrition, or if you have anyone that you could easily pull into this with you who does.
Well, I just lift at the gym, and I try to eat healthy, so that's where my background comes in, and it's kind of like a hobby. I just kind of research it out myself. That's pretty much basically that.
Okay. And as a follow-up on that too, did you have any thoughts on what you do for someone with, for example, food allergies? So you have like the meal plans all set to go, but what if you have someone who has very specific dietary needs?
Well, we actually took that into account. We don't actually have anything that includes peanuts in there specifically. I purposely didn't include anything like that. As for vegetarians, we would have to make an alternative to that. That would most likely have to be another package.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Amber Martinez.
My name is Gianfranco Baez.
Media production company. We have been established since 2017, and we are in the process of making an LLC in the next month. Our mission is to provide productions to innovative individuals like ourselves to help them grow and thrive as a brand and help them stand out from their competition. We mainly strategize in our emerging entrepreneurs, our artists and models, and we help them become and grow as a brand. Did you guys know that 3 billion people are active on social media worldwide, expected to grow exponentially in 2018? It's crazy, like everyone's on social media. It's the social norm now. 81% of brands are actually on some sort of social platform. And, you know, what makes you stand out from any other brands? Visual content, the quality of it. Visual content has the highest percentage of social media engagement, and emerging brands may struggle with that media aspect because they might not strategize in that. And that misses out on such a large market on social media because there's so many people, like I said, 3 billion people. Brands stray away from hiring media production companies because it's so expensive. They could really spend up to over $1,000 for just a simple, media service.
And that's really the problem. And our solution to that is that we offer really high quality visuals at, for the most part, affordable rate. We're very low budget, so we offer, like I said, the high quality visuals for that low rate. For example, we could set up a whole set in a living room and make it look like it was done in a professional studio. Another thing that sets us apart from our competition is that we actually spend the time to talk with our clients from the moment that they contact us about the idea to even afterward. And the majority of our clients are returning because they want more updated visuals, and we constantly talk to them, we reply to them in social media, and et cetera.
Another thing that kind of specializes us away from our competitors because of our partners. We let them have a whole bunch of aspects that can help them stand out from the competition by partnering with DMSK Designs, a modeling agency. The models actually come in for our sets, and they do the videos for them, and they're the ones just kind of acting. We also have a makeup artist, Brushed by Deanna. She does all of our makeup. She's a really great makeup artist. And we also have a hairstyler, Diamond. She does great hairstyling for anybody who's on set. We also have dancers, performers, actors, and we continue to grow with our networking and our partners. It's really the biggest part in our situation. And we also partner with a DJ/producer that we have here today that's going to explain a little bit about to you, like how it is to partner with us.
Hi, I'm DJ Primex, and I usually work with C15 Imaging with all their musical projects. If they have a musical client, I usually help them produce the music for them. And if they ever have a project or an event or a performance, I usually go out there and DJ for them.
And that's usually where our thing is that sets us apart from our competitors. And in the future, we do plan on getting a film/recording studio so that way we could just turn into this one-stop shop for any emerging artist, entrepreneur, and model. Is there any questions?
Nice presentation and balancing amongst the three of you. Nice work. That's hard to do. Okay, so you have, you'd mentioned that $1,000 would be a lot for some of these startup companies. But you have a number of individuals, and you also have contractors like the hairstylist and the makeup person. Describe your business model where you're going to be able to provide a service of maybe a couple $100 and still be able to pay you all and all the contractors and still make money. So tell me how.
So we have basically individual packages for everyone, and we construct packages based on what they want into our thing. So the prices are not like really set. It's kind of ranges around. And also with our contractors, whenever we get a client that wants, the makeup stylist or the modeling agency or anything, we give them a percentage. Like they come in, we get 20% of what they make because we offered them to it. And the same thing for the DJ, we get 50% because we kind of qualify him under our name. So it's kind of like with the vendors kind of deals, we make money out of that way.
Sounds like you've been doing this for some time. How many clients do you have now?
Well,
or have had.
Yeah, so we put that in the business plan. I believe do you remember? I think it was over.
Approximately.
Approximately starting from when we first started to now, not counting really small clients like a client that wants their senior portrait done, we've had roughly 50 to 60, and that's from starting last year to current right now.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Thank you. Is your company, you bring suppliers and customers together? So you're basically a platform. You're like a eBay marketplace. So you have hairdressers, musicians, and so on, based on the customers. So you think yourself as a platform, and you manage the interaction between both?
So we're, like Amber was saying, we do that. The majority of the time, clients come to us for the simple media need, a commercial, a photo shoot, etc., and then we offer them other things that we offer. So, for example, if a client comes in for a commercial, we could be like, hey, to try out your clothes, we could offer these models, and these models will have makeup done. And, it would be great to have your clothes done at a party, so we'll bring the DJ along, and just etc., to build on their thing to make it more than what it is.
Okay, so you're basically a marketplace. You bring suppliers and consumers together, and then you kind of polish it into a package. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good presentation, guys. You'd mentioned you have 50 clients or so far, and you started like last year. Do you guys have any sales so far, like numbers?
Yeah, so we actually have it written down. Let's see. Okay, so our revenue that so far we made from 2000 to 2018, we made around $12,281.50. And then our expenses was $7,774, which makes our profit around $4,507.50 approximately.
Oh, wow. How are you finding all of these customers?
So our customers, we do a lot of things like on social media. That's mainly where we find our customers. We go on like sites and stuff, and we kind of search for them basically, and when we message them and really find them on social media. If not, we do like different things. Like we went to a Prom Angels event the other day, and we were kind of a vendor there, and we got a lot of our clients from that for like prom things. So we do a lot of vendor stuff, and
So once you produce like a product, whether it be a video or music, are you helping your clients get it somewhere? Like,
So, great that you mentioned that because we didn't have time to talk about it. One of our clients, musical artist by the name of Joseph Gray, his song and his music video were done in a really high quality production studio because he's friends with some people in New York and they had a studio, and we were actually able to get his video on a Facebook page called Urban Leak, which had it reached up to 30,000 views, so much that he had another video put on there that reached 20,000 views. So, and another thing that brings in a lot of clients is we think of every project not only for them, but it's also another way for us to network too, because we could show, hey, if you want a music video done, we have this one right here, look at this one, and then that'll be almost our own commercial, is our past projects.
thanks. Nice presentation.
Yeah, you guys did a great job. I was actually going to ask you a question about how you were planning on getting the word out and doing your advertising, but you kind of talked about that a little bit with your social media stuff when you were responding to the last question, so I think I'm actually all set.
All right, thank you for your time.
So we have our 4 contestants. I think the judges are going to go confer on the prizes, and we're going to take a couple of minutes, and while they're doing that, I'm going to invite the teams to interview. And you guys go put your heads together, and I'll come chat with them. So Benjamin, you want to come up, and let's see what you thought about this. Again, while people are moving around, let me again express our appreciation to Stanley Black & Decker for sponsoring this. It's a really important opportunity for our students, as you can see, to practice speaking in front of folks, and we have a great group of judges, people who have invested, who are working with startups or who are providing bank loans to startups, and it's a wonderful experience, and we really appreciate the support for that. Ben, come over here. So, have you pitched it in this kind of environment before?
Not this environment before. This might be the biggest for me so far.
You've done a 1-minute pitch before.
Right. Yep. And this is the longest pitch as well. 3 minutes. Yeah.
So how did you think you did?
I think I did well. I mean, there were definitely points I would like to have added in the pitch. Probably mostly just about target market, etc. But
so target market. From the judges' questions, were there things that you said, "Oh yeah, I should have put that in"?
Definitely. I think from the judges, mostly just the questions that they posed to me were things I would have wanted to include in the presentation that I think I probably could have probably implemented in some way. Yep.
So I know an earlier version of this, you had a couple of different ways, and you alluded to a couple of opportunities here. Why did you pick this particular thing to present?
I picked this opportunity to present this particular idea just because I'm interested in it. I have some experience within the industry, and I also think I even have a couple of product ideas that might be able to kind of stem from this, and I think it's something other people might be able to enjoy as well.
So you sound like you're positioning yourself for a serial career in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I do enjoy it very much. It's my major, my concentration in the management major at CCSU Business School, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
So has your coursework helped you prepare?
Yes, definitely. My coursework has been very helpful. Taking your course last semester, and this semester I'm taking the second entrepreneurship course, which is managing the small business, which is really relatable to what I've been trying to do. So,
great, thanks, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with this. And you want to come up and let me ask you a few things. So I've had the pleasure of watching these students develop over the year, and in various capacities, whether it was in previous elevator pitch competitions or a couple of them I've had in class, and they're just great kids. So Ken, it sounded like I see your wife is here. Did you want to bring her up here?
Do you want to come up here? She's a little shy.
She's a little shy. Okay, that's fine. Well, she's a partner in his, so I presume that you and she have talked a good deal about this?
Yeah. She's the assistant director of a daycare currently, and so I wanted to encourage her to have the courage to start her own venture, because one of the things we've noticed is the business she works at has been in business for 28 years. And in 28 years, they still do all of the payments processing through a binder and sheets of paper. So even today, where everything is up to date in almost every big organization you see, there are so many centers. Only 25% are accredited in Connecticut, and that even decreases down, I think like 16% in Rhode Island. So even today, there's just a huge gap here where we could take this and at least be in the top 10, top 20% almost right away, just from starting with being an accredited organization.
So this sounds like great stuff that you didn't have time in the 3 minutes to say. Were there other things that you didn't have time to speak of?
Oh, I'm sure there are, but I could talk about it for a while because I'm so excited about trying to get her to start the business. But
So let me ask another question. When you went and sat back down with her, was there something she said that you should have said?
She told me that I should have hurried up a little bit because I didn't get through all the slides, and I told her that I had planned it out to be a 4-minute speech and was going to try to pull your chain and try to get a little extra time here, but you didn't budge much.
Yeah, well, that's part of my job is to hold you accountable, right? So, well, do you think you're really going to be able to do this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we just got married last October, so that was a good $35,000 bill. But we're building up our savings right now because we want to make sure that at least 25% of the initial seed money is coming from us.
Great. So I've always wanted, it's a sidetrack. $35,000, that's a third of what you wanted to have for seed capital.
Well, yeah, we want $200,000 actually because we're going to need $100,000 in operating capital just to keep us afloat for that first year because it will take a while to get kids through the door.
So how did you prepare for this other than the two of you working together?
Well, last Tuesday you sent me an email, and so Saturday afternoon I said we better get something going here, and so Saturday and Sunday we devoted to working on this, and that's about it.
Great. Thanks so much again. Appreciate it. So let's have Mo and Ed come up, our nutrition guys. So I'm going to talk about these guys. They're the two lead officers in our entrepreneurship club on campus. We do have an active entrepreneurship club, in no small part because Ed last year as a freshman stepped up and said, okay, I'll do this. And, he's been a great leader for the club. And Mo was right there and said, yeah, me too. And they've been having interesting meetings with guest speakers and working on plans like this together. And it's just been a pleasure. So, guys, true confessions. When did you start thinking about this?
Maybe last week.
And you got some interviews in during that time, right?
Oh, no, we actually did, in all honesty, because this is actually an interesting topic for us. Once we found out that essentially we have no competition, so it was definitely interesting for us.
So both of you guys look like you're in shape, but you're not on any of the athletic teams here. Is that right?
No, actually, I don't play any sports, but yeah, I do try to stay active in the gym and everything like that.
So one of the things the judges didn't ask you, and I got to ask it because it's my downfall. When I go to a buffet of food, and our cafeteria has a big line of food, there's all the things that I know I should eat, and then these other things got louder voices. They're saying, eat me, and how is this plan going to work with those folks?
Well, it really comes down to the students' motivation. If they really want to do great in that sport, they really have to put the right things in their body. That's really the students' motivation. If they want to go up to the top and win the championships, they have to put in that work in that diet. That's just part of the plan.
Yeah, I was just going to say, an athlete's main motivation for basically doing anything, if they love their sport, is to win, right? Like they want to go out, they want to compete, they want to win, and they want to have fun. So, if they're really dedicated to winning that championship, winning that game, those little voices really won't get much louder. So.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Good luck with you. And Amber, you want to bring your team up? We'll take a couple of minutes. It looks like the judges are about ready to come make some awards, but I want each team to have a chance to say something. And one of the fun things this year is that all of our contestants are not seniors. In fact, Amber, you're a freshman, right? And so, and you're not attending here. It's part of our rules. One of the leaders, and obviously Amber is the leader here, has to attend here. But you want to talk about what the other guys are doing?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm actually a freshman at Middlesex Community College, and I've known Amber since high school, and that's pretty much where we started our business as seniors, right? Senior, juniors? The senior year, we started our business then, and we've taken it on to here.
I'm actually a senior in high school. Yeah, I started my DJ business a long time ago, about a year or two ago, and then I met these two in high school, and they had a passion for video ever since I met them. So ever since I started hanging out with them, like a year ago, I just knew that we would connect and we would do good business.
Yeah, what high school?
Middletown High School.
Yeah, I think that. Hey, I think they're all Middletown High School, right? Yeah. So, just to point out, we love having our community college students participate with us. You're going to come here when you get out, maybe. Right? Yeah. Maybe you'll come our way. We hope so. So, one of the things that might not have been obvious, the video that was playing in the background was their video. You want to talk a little bit about how long it took to make and what you were trying to say with that, and that might help us understand how you can do this so economically.
So throughout that whole video, it was kind of like a montage of all of our past projects that we had done. We had I know we said something about the 30,000 view video that we had on Urban Link on a Facebook page. We showed a little clip on there. It was with a guy, and there was like a whole bunch of fog coming up. That was actually in our living room. We did that, and it looks nothing like that, which is a really good attribute for us. Also, we showed a little bit of our behind the scenes, like what we do, like, on set, and it showed our connections with our people that we work with and stuff. Like, really, whenever somebody works with us, like, we always have good connections because we just love our clients, to be honest. Yeah, it is fun. You want to say?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like Amber said, the majority of the video there was just a compilation of all our work from 2018, like from the new year to now. We want to keep it somewhat recent so we could like refer back to it. But yeah, like Amber said, a lot of our clients, I would say about like 75% of our clients are returning clients because we do like to build that relationship with the people that we work with. For example, Jordan.
But judges, you guys ready? So I think we're going to wrap that up for now, and maybe you'll be back in a minute to take some money. Huh? Thank you. Thank you so much. Are you sending one emissary up here? Or is that... there's always this sense of responsibility, and I'm glad that I offload that responsibility to such good friends and trusted friends. It would be hard for me to pick among these students. It's like picking among your children. You want them all to win. Would you like to announce?
Sure. So we had 4 categories that we were asked to choose from. We have the sheet. Best presentation, scalability, best for Main Street, and judge's favorite. And so for best presentation, we like team number 4, C15.
Congratulations. It should be no surprise. You should win that, right? For the presentation. Thank you.
All right. For scalability, we like team number 3, Meal Plan Mobile. We thought they had an excellent idea.
Congratulations, young men.
For Main Street, we actually had a tie. We thought both pickup sticks and building blocks childcare really made an impact in the community. And then for judge's favorite, we had a tie as well. We liked the Meal Plan mobile app and C15, mainly because C15 already has a successful business, and we really enjoyed the idea of Meal Plan mobile app.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We'll sort out the money with the teams here when we're done here. And again, thank you all for coming and being a part of this. And thank you who are watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and are looking forward to meeting our students, doing business with them, or if you want somebody who's got real talent to come work for you, maybe you could convince them. But we're very proud of them. Thank you very much.